Hey everyone, good morning to the third and the last day of the conference. Thank you all for being here, listening to us, to talk about how we make contributing to Kubernetes easy and what we have been doing for the past decade. What challenges have we been facing, what good things we have been doing, and how do we plan to manage the Kubernetes contributor community and the processes for the next decade. So I am Nabarun. I am one of the co-chairs of SIG Contributor Experience. I maintain a few other areas of Kubernetes and contribute to this other CNCF project called KCP.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Mario. I'm also one of the co-chairs of Contributor Experience in Kubernetes, and I'm also doing FinOps for the Kubernetes projects and some CI/CD work for all of the CNCF projects.
And hello everyone, my name is Priyanka Saggu. I work at SUSE, and I'm one of the technical leads for Kubernetes SIG Contributor Experience, and we do not have two people on the stage today, so I'll also introduce them. We have Kaslin, who is also one of the co-chairs for SIG ContribEx, and Madhav, who also is one of my fellow technical leads. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for introducing. So who do we make processes for? So here we have a photo from Kubernetes Contributor Summit North America 2024, where you can see a small chunk actually of our whole contributor base. We do have a lot of contributors contributing to Kubernetes. As of last week, we had about 95,000 contributors to Kubernetes at any point in time in the last 11 years of the project existing. They contributed over 4.5 million contributions, includes commits, reviews, everything. It includes all activity across the project's repos. And their contributions have been held by around 8,000 reviewers in the history of the project. And these numbers are like quite growing. I would not be surprised if we reach like 100K contributors by start of next year or end of next year, because the numbers are like quite rapidly increasing. Having said that, how is the community structured? So the Kubernetes is a really huge project, and to maintain such a project, we need to have certain groups. We need to have a structure. So we basically have three specific kinds of groups. One is in dark blue, which are the special interest groups. Contributor Experience is one of them. We have in light blue working groups. They are supposed to be short-term groups who have a very specific goal, and they have an exit criteria, and they are supposed to wrap up at the end of the cycle by reaching that success criteria, and the work will be folded into one of the subprojects, one or more of the special interest groups subprojects. And then the third type of group that we have are committees. They are mostly elected. The steering committee has elections every year where the entire Kubernetes community, the active contributors, they elect 3 or 4 members each cycle to represent the community in the steering committee. And the steering committee essentially then, the community delegates to the steering committee the power to select members of the Code of Conduct committee. The Code of Conduct committee is a group of 5 individuals, and they also rotate like every year with a 2-year term per member. And we do have a product security committee. So if you ever got a CV report or you got a security flaw, you might have gotten communications from the product security committee. They are in charge of making sure CVs are taken care of. They are making, they make sure that any kind of incoming security flaws are responsibly handled, and they have a process to make sure they get in through the embargo process and the patching process so that the final product is always secure. Amongst the SIGs and the working groups, we kind of like logically or virtually like segregate them into 3 kinds, like special interest groups, which take care of the project level responsibilities where they maintain different aspects of the project. They cut across basically maintaining the project, like VR, contributor experience, then SIG Arch, release, docs, testing, and KDS infra. Then we have the horizontal SIGs. They are basically cutting across the technical areas horizontally of the whole Kubernetes project. And then there are vertical SIGs for feature areas or very tight scoped vertical areas of the project. And that's how essentially the community is structured. There are additions, deletions to the groups based on requirements. If for example, like working groups serving, device management, they all came up in the very recent past, in the last year, when the need arose of talking about such topics in the Kubernetes project. Now, you might wonder how you, as a new contributor, get into the whole ladder of becoming a maintainer. So you start off being a non-member contributor. You contribute to any areas of the project. You don't need to be a GitHub organization member to start contributing. Then when you have contributed, let's say, a few PRs or contributed substantially, you can ask the reviewers or people who have been working with you in your contributions to sponsor you to be a member of the org. Then you become a member contributor. And as you keep working on areas of the project, you review more code, you like add new features or work on other different areas. Like it's not just about code, it's also like the project management areas. It's also about like maintaining the infrastructure. You grow up the ranks to becoming a reviewer, then approver, then you become a subproject owner, then you become a subproject lead. And at the end, if you want to take up like more management responsibilities of the special interest group itself, you can opt to become a SIG chair or a tech lead or a working group lead if you are leading a working group towards a certain goal. And this process takes some time as well. This is all based on like how people are contributing, how people are reviewing code. It's based on their code review quality or work quality, like how many blog posts are you writing. It's not always like quantitative as well. It's very qualitative process of growing up the ladder. Now, where does SIG ContribEx fit in? We have talked about the community. We have talked about growing. So SIG ContribEx essentially is responsible for improving the experience of who contribute to the project. We do that by creating, maintaining programs and processes that promote the community and the members by trying to reduce any friction of contributing. And often, like, we also try to retire the programs which have served their purpose and are not serving their purpose anymore. And whenever like there is a new area coming up, if people want like a different kind of initiative to improve the contributor health of the community, we do take up those programs as well. Now, how do we do those? Our work is technically segregated into a few subprojects. To start with, we have the community subproject, which owns the Kubernetes/community repo and any documentation or groups associated with it. Then we have the contributor comms. So if you have been following our social handles or have been reading our blogs on either the kubernetes.io blog or kubernetes.dev blog, that's the team which is shipping out all this content. Any sort of announcements, any sort of like reminders, all of them go through the contributor comms. Then you have the contributor documentation. They essentially manage the contributor guide. They manage the kubernetes.dev website for Kubernetes contributors. Then we have the community management group, which maintains policies for different communication platforms. Like we have Discuss, we have Slack, we have GitHub, although GitHub also has a separate subproject to maintain the overall configuration and the repo health. We'll come to that later. And then we have the DevStats subproject. So if you want any statistics about the Kubernetes project, the contributions segregated by the geography or the company who contributes, there is a DevStats subproject who maintains that. Elections. We talked about two specific elections. The election subproject, they own a tool called Electo. It's open source. We used to use a different proprietary tool earlier where it was a lot of friction to create elections, run elections. Then the community decided to start a new initiative to create a project to actually do elections. So if you go to elector.dev, you can see the documentation of the tool that we used to do elections. Then there is an event subproject. So the Kubernetes Contributor Summit, which has been running for like almost a decade, was being run by the events subproject, and now they're helping CNCF in running the maintainer summits. I talked a little briefly about the GitHub management subproject. They are supposed to maintain the org membership process, the whole repo management thing. We don't own the tooling as such, but we own the configuration and any discussions around the configuration of the whole community. Then we have the mentoring subproject. So you might have heard about programs like GSOC, LFX mentorship. Then we have a few mentoring cohorts that we do inside the community to grow new contributors into reviewers or existing contributors into maintainers of specific areas. All three of us, or two of us at least, I know, we came through the whole mentoring process of becoming a lead of SIG ContribEx. So we started on, we were doing a few things around SIG ContribEx, like Mario was doing contributor comms related areas. I was doing GitHub management and other technical areas of the project. Priyanka was also working on GitHub management and other areas of the project. And we all were mentored by the previous set of leads to become the leads of ContribEx. Then at the end, we have the Slack info project. It's very akin to when you try to join the Kubernetes Slack, there's an inviter bot, and then we have some groups management. This all requires some amount of effort in maintaining the tooling around it. Fortunately, the Slack API has been so stable that we did not need to change even a single line of code for the last 5 years, and we don't have maintainers for that as well, to that extent for now. OK, so I'll give it to Mario to talk about the next parts.
Yeah, so basically, also, if you know Slack API, you know what to do. So, yeah, as Nabarun already mentioned, some history. So for the last 9 years, and we have now 10 years of Kubernetes, 11 in June. In June, we get 11. So we can soon open our Twitter account again with the birthday. However, so we have, for 9 years, we did in the past Kubernetes Contributor Summits. Contributor Summits is usually one day before KubeCon, or sometimes it was at the co-located events day, where all of the contributors of the Kubernetes project come together and talked, sit down, had unconference sessions, had normal sessions, did socialize, because as you saw, we have a huge community of people that want to work together and join the Kubernetes project. So the problem was, this is always Kubernetes focused. So it was only Kubernetes, and Kubernetes it's a big project in the community, but it's not alone, right? So we have over 200 new projects inside of the CNCF, and the idea was that we get to, hey, we want to have a maintainer summit, which means that we have maintainers from all of the projects, which means that we have people from sandbox projects, that we have people from incubating and graduating projects. So the higher you are in your life cycle of your project, the more people you can basically send to maintainer summits. So we also include some other folks inside of the maintainer summit, which means that there's a technical oversight committee, which is part of the CNCF. It is basically they make technical decisions on a level across projects, and it's always good to have their input as well. We also have included tech chairs, so technical advisory groups, so that we have one day where each of those different groups come together and talk about, hey, what do we need to do to foster our all-over project environment and work together. And this is now the goal of the Maintainer Summit that happened the first time in India last year. And the second time now in Europe on Monday, and we had on Monday we had 360 maintainers from across all of the projects coming together and working on stuff. So we also want people to understand more of the ecosystem, because a lot of folks just create a project, the project becomes eventually part of the CNCF, and they don't know what the CNCF can help you with, and they also don't have the understanding sometimes where they fit in, because they are completely new to the community. And that's also why we basically included all of those technical advisory groups and TOCs in this, so that those projects can learn, and also that projects can learn from the other more graduated projects. So we had a lot of sessions done by Kubernetes maintainers to basically explain things like, hey, we have social media channels in Kubernetes. Maybe social media channels is also interesting for your project. So like educating or helping the smaller and the newer projects to find their place inside this whole big ecosystem. It's hard to create an event. For the Kubernetes community days in the past, we had our own team that was the events team in our world, where we basically had like part of Kubernetes contributor experience that just made a maintainer summit. The problem is you need to have a lot of people to run an event, and all of those people did it in their free time, and it also took like a lot of things away. So we basically included, we now have the help of the CNCF events team, which is great because they help us with all of the logistics. We still have volunteers in ContribEx that do like communication to the internal project, and also to help with the program committee, because the Kubernetes as the biggest project gets its own track. So we have 3 chairs that are overseeing the whole maintainer summit that are selected out of the community. This year it were 2 people from the Kubernetes project and 1 person from the TOC, so that we also have like from a chair perspective like the spread across the different projects. Now we are looking for new chairs for the next year, because a term is always 1 year. So we start with the Kubernetes Maintainer Summit in Europe, and we end with the Maintainer Summit in the US. So we have now also a formalized CFP process. So we go the same way like we do with the events for CNCF. And the good thing is that we now can also have sponsorships. So companies can actually sponsor the Maintainer Summit, that people can come together so that we can have more maintainers on those events. We also talked briefly about how to get into Kubernetes, how to get into Kubernetes contributing and stuff like this. And for this, we also created a new initiative, which is cool, which is called New Contributor Orientation. New Contributor Orientation's goal is basically, you saw the slide that Nabarun talked about with these are the 6, this is the community structure, these are our committees. That's a lot. That's a lot to understand, and it's really, really hard for new people like, hey, I go to GitHub and look for good first issue, and then I looked at the good first issue, and the good first issue is not a good first issue. So we basically need to take, or the goal of this new thing is that we take the hand of people who want to contribute and introduce them into the community and show them how it's structured and show them how they can process. So basically, we have now a meeting, which is every month on the 3rd Tuesday in 2 time zones. So we do the meeting America friendly and also Asia Pacific and European friendly, so that we have like all of the folks that really can join. It is roughly 1.5 hours, so we have a 40-minute presentation of content and 20 minutes where you can just ask questions. We have people from the community joining, and anyone can attend. There's no judgment. You don't have to have any previous knowledge about it. Just come to the meeting, join it, and learn about a Kubernetes project. And there we can also help you to steer you towards a SIG, to understand what SIG would be interesting for you to contribute and stuff like this. Presentation is, welcome to Kubernetes, what is Kubernetes, community structure, we help you with a workflow. We have a common contributor pitfalls. As I mentioned, good first issues are usually not good first issues. That's a problem, we are aware of this, and we basically just help you to navigate through all of this. We track statistics. We went off with a great start, and then it declined a little bit, but this is mostly on our fault, and I say our fault from a comms perspective, because we haven't figured out a good way yet to do like regular, constantly communications. But you still can see that we have a consistent intake of people that basically join those meetings. And we are happy if you can join those meetings and learn about the Kubernetes project, and we will steer you towards it. We promise we will be better in communications. To make it easy for you, we have a repository where you can basically have a look at statistics and all of the stuff. Just go to the QR code, and there you can basically find all of the information about new contributor orientation. And as I said, we improve with content, or we improve with comms and content, and we want to learn about it, but we also have already a lot of communication that is being done, and Priyanka will talk more about this.
Yeah. We are past our time, so this should be our Q&A, but I'll try to cover the most important part, because this is where we will tell where do we need help within SIG ContribEx. Before I go to that, these are the Kubernetes.io and Kubernetes.dev blogs. I'll just cover some stats on all the things that we have been doing as part of some of the sub-projects under SIG ContribEx. And SIG ContribEx as a SIG handles these two blogs. One of these is handled in collaboration with SIG docs. So on Kubernetes.dev, in 2024, I think by the end of the year, we have more now. By 2024, we had 14 blog posts, and out of, in addition to that, we had SIG Spotlight blogs. So if SIG ContribEx is also helping to understand about other SIGs, and you can find out SIG Spotlights blog for that. And on the other one, Kubernetes.io, in collaboration with SIG docs, SIG ContribEx helped publishing 45 blogs in 2024. We have more. We are in April now. I'm pretty sure we are working on more. And social media report, I'll just quickly run through them. These are our accounts. I'll give you a full list in one screenshot. But Kubernetes on LinkedIn, from the time Kubernetes SIG ContribEx contributor comms took over this handle, we had about 147% growth in the new followers and about 985% growth in the posts, so about 141 new posts. Kubernetes.io on X, these are the stats there. And then we also now have a new handle on Blue Sky, which since November 4, 2024, have 6,000 plus followers. And what I just talked about are our end user facing channels. We also have different handles for contributor facing channels. So on X, we have a handle Kate as contributors. The stats are here because we see the reds because we are moving to Blue Sky. And so we have a replacement or equivalent account now on Blue Sky, which is Kubernetes.dev. Again, since November 4th, in the contributor-facing area, we have 300 followers and 300 plus followers and more. We also have a handle on Mastodon. Okay, so this is the list of all the accounts we as SIG ContribEx maintains us with the help of contributor comms project. So I'll wait for like 2 seconds if somebody wants to take a photo, or you can find them in our handout notes. We also want to thank all our amazing contributors. We can't thank them all on the screen. So these are the few we want to highlight based on the very recent contributions. Thank you to Arpit. Arpit is joining us as one of the new YouTube admins. Arvind helped us with Maintainer Summit India. Frederico, thank you, Frederico. I don't know if you are here in the conference. Thank you for all the work you are doing in helping us maintain our blogs, both the Kubernetes.io and Kubernetes.dev handle. Faika, thank you for all your contributions toward LWKD. And Sayak is one of the people who is helping us bring our infrastructure side of our blogs, bring all that back in shape. And thank you to Wendy for helping us with the comm side of Maintainer Summit London. And there are more people, so thank you to a lot of people. Now, just wrapping up super quick, there are a few help wanted areas we have. Number one is the Slack automation. Nabarun said we do not have maintainers. We do need maintainers though. So take a screenshot. Actually, absolutely everything that we do as for management of the community, we want it to be automated. And this is one space where we can use help. Who would be the right people to talk to? I think you can reach out to the Slack infra admins people in Slack. Slack infra, or you can just reach out to Nabarun. Yeah, he was the one who last wrote those automation. Okay, next up we have Electro. I think we started receiving some help on the Electro side, but roughly what we need help with is, this is a ingrown community built software that we run every single year for 2 runs of elections. This software is written in Python and Flask, and we need help with hardening it. We need to rework or extend our testing. So if you are interested into the testing area, and if you have your skill sets are related to Python or Flask, or you want to learn, this is the project where we need a lot of help. And the people who you can talk to about this would be, you can ping us in SIG ContribEx on slack.kts.io, or there is also an elections channel in slack.kts.io. You can reach out to us here. Next up, we have contributor side. I mentioned Sayak. He is one of the people who is helping us maintaining the Hugo static site generator and Doxy theme that helps us run our blogs, but we still are relying on one person, and we can use a lot of help. So if somebody is interested in helping us maintaining our contributor side or learning alongside Sayak, feel free to just read what Sayak is doing and then maybe reach out to us. You can reach out to us in any of the channels I talked about, SIG ContribEx on slack.kts.io, or we also run bi-weekly meetings, so you can come on any of those as well. Finally, mentoring. Mentoring is one sub-project where we help other people or other projects in the community run mentoring cohorts. But we also need a structure there. I think Sylvester is helping us build a lot of structure already, but we could use a lot of more volunteers there to help us run those cohorts. So if you are into shepherding tasks or management tasks, this is one of the areas where we can use your help. And finally, those are the open help wanted areas, but we always have more ad hoc stuff that is happening in the community. So please hop on to any of the bi-weekly meetings. One happen in APAC time zone, APAC EMEA, and another one is a US-friendly time zone. You can join any of those, and you will find at least one of us on those calls and many more contributors. Yeah, so we do go over our sub-projects one by one and discuss what is going on. So. And finally, this is a list of all the resources. You can definitely, my personal favorite is K Community, bookmark it if you are new to the community. Even if you are not new to the community, you're hoping SIGs or you just want to learn what is going on. K Community is the resource. You can open many of the directories there about specific SIGs, specific working groups, and you can see which area is owned by which particular SIG and so on. Slack.kts.io again is our Slack organization, Slack working space. You can use that URL to join the community. And SIG ContribEx is the channel for Kubernetes SIG Contributor Experience. Kubernetes SIG ContribEx, I think there is a hyperlink there that will point you to the mailing list for SIG Contributor Experience, and that mailing list is the way to join to or get invitations to our bi-weekly meetings as well. And I think that's same for NCO as well. And it's, again, we truly acknowledge it's always not too easy to get started. And it is frustrating. It was for me, and I can say it for most of my colleagues here. So the only thing is you just stick around, you observe other people, and you follow their footstep, or you make your own by observing them. And if you need help, SIG ContribEx is the place to ask for help. If we can't help you ourselves, we will make sure we find you resources, or we point you to the right people. And that is what NCO is for, or our regular bi-weekly meetings as well. Once again, thank you for joining the talk, and we look forward to working with you or talking to you or meeting you in the community. Open to Q&A. Yeah, thank you.
If you have feedback for us, do fill in the feedback form. It will take you to a Sched page, most likely, where you can rate the session and then put in some comments.
Hello? Hello? Yep. Any questions?
You mentioned DevStats. I occasionally go there just for fun. And to justify my work towards my management, because it does help with that, so a good tool. I know we also rely on it to track active contributors for elections, for example. I remember at some point there was a similar tool from the CNCF. Are there any plans to migrate, or will both keep running for the foreseeable future?
DevStats is also a CNCF project. Just Kubernetes project maintains the KDS part of it, and like the graphs for the KDS part. So there's DevStats. There's a global DevStats instance for all of the projects, where you can basically get the same statistics for all of the projects. And there is a beta. There's a beta website with more stats for also project health and project releases and stuff like this. So both will stay, but the focus of both of the platforms is slightly different. But I can't remember the name where it is, but it's somewhere on the CNCF website.
LFX Insights.
LFX Insights, yeah. There you can get more statistics on the different projects, and yeah, DevStats is like more personal, more company-related stuff for like if you want to have really nitty-gritty details.
I think I can add, we did onboard Kubernetes to LFX Insights, and we did feedback, like this is what we use DevStats right now for. One of the use cases you already mentioned is for finding out who is eligible for elections or casting a vote. Currently, we do not have 101 APIs from LFX Insights, but that was mentioned like it was so early, and we are trying to get feedback from all the projects, and we'll work on that. So we have to follow up on that, yes, where we are in the migration. Or I did hear DevStats will be sunset if LFX Insights does everything what DevStats does, but it is if it does, which is not the case today.
Any other questions? Dan?
If not, thank you all for attending.